What's up, y'all? Welcome back. AA Fitness Live every Sunday, 12 Eastern Time. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're talking about how to shred fat fast. But first,
updates. All right, what updates do we have for them, James? All right, well, I'll start while he thinks of his update. So this week I was down 1.4 pounds, so a pound and a half. That's pretty good. I have been at the same macros and cardio regimen for 4 weeks, y'all. So, hey, I'll take that pound and a half. That's pretty good. This week was a challenge for me. So at work, I took my whole team offsite. We had a leadership offsite, which meant everyone brought snacks to the offsite all day long. But not only that, so there was that temptation, but not only that, it just kind of messed up my workout and cardio schedule. I had to shift a lot of things to the morning only, and I got a lot less steps in. So I was a little concerned at what my check-in would be, but kept it together, and I'll take a pound and a half.
yeah, it's always tough when your schedule gets blowed up. You know, a lot of times I'll say no to training just because I don't want my schedule to get changed up, right? Unless I need the training, of course, then I take it. But that absolutely makes it tough. You know, you travel for work, et cetera, makes it tough. So anytime you got to change, you can get through it and still make a win.
That's a win.
That's a big win.
Yeah.
All right, I lost weight as well. I'm not sure how long I've been on the same macros, but if you're paying attention, I maintained last week. This week, I lost 2 pounds.
Wow. Okay. So what was different?
I got some things healing up. My back's healing up so I could train harder. That was the only difference this week. The macros are the same. The calories were the same. I just trained harder.
All right. Good morning, Tina. Yeah.
Welcome back, Tina.
She got pretty messed up yesterday, too. She went to a bodybuilding show and had the celebration meal.
Everybody likes to celebrate after their show. That's for sure.
It's tough going to a bodybuilding show. Usually that's like an all-day affair. So unless you're bringing your meals with you, you end up buying whatever they have at the venue to eat, which can be a challenge.
Native Grit's on. What's up, Native Grit? So I guess you didn't get to do the caber toss. You are correct, sir. So we went to the Highland Games, the Scottish Games yesterday. The one in Fair Hill, Maryland, which is where we went, is actually a professional one. And I am not a professional Highland athlete.
It would be so much fun just watching the games. Like, it would be fun. I'm not sure, like, my body can hang at this age, though.
I've always wanted to do it, and I might do it, but you know, we missed that one, and I'd have to be a professional anyway to compete at that one. So maybe we'll look into it, hit another one. But I've never tossed a caber. I've never thrown the hammer. I've never done any of the events. So it would probably be ugly the first couple times.
I'm sure. It was a lot of fun, though, just like getting to hear all the music and the bagpipes going. That's probably my favorite part of the whole thing. And, of course, seeing the games.
Yeah, we had a blast.
Absolutely. What other updates do we have? Anything else? I don't think so. I think it was a solid week of just like keeping our heads down, getting our workouts in, our cardio in, staying on point with the diet. So laser focus.
Feels good to be able to train hard again. You know, we all go through ups and downs, tweaks, bumps, bruises. You know, they heal and you come back, and it feels good when you come back 100%, baby. I'm not 100%, but I'm getting close.
Yeah. All right, y'all. So we kicked off the 6-week summer shred challenge.
Yeah.
So thank you to those that actually sent their start photos in. Remember, we're having that whole challenge. You were supposed to email your start photos to us yesterday, but I will give you till today if you want to jump in there. So please do it.
We got a lot of people said they're doing it, but didn't send pics in. Send those before pics, y'all.
Yeah.
And Aileen's on. What's up, Aileen?
Aileen.
Welcome back, baby.
Yeah. So today we're carrying on with our topics. Hopefully you've enjoyed some of the content this week. On Wednesday, we released a pretty comprehensive video on nutrition, cardio, and supplements. And so today's video, we're going to carry on with that, but we really want to share some of the common mistakes that people make when doing that. And we're going to really cut through the BS, y'all. Like, we're going to tell you what it is that you need to know about those 3 topics in particular.
It's real talk.
Real talk. So if you're ready to cut through the BS and get that shred on for summer, this is definitely the video for you guys. And we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning in every Sunday with us. So, all right, you ready to kick it off today with some real talk with Camille and James?
Let's do it.
All right, well, let's talk about nutrition and caloric deficits to start with. Real talk, caloric deficit is king. If you are not in one, there's this idea that no fat burning food or supplement is going to save you. What do you think about that statement?
I'm sorry, I was reading Tina's comment.
Tina says, I took a photo of myself last Wednesday and I can screenshot it with the timestamp on it. That good.
That worked?
Yeah, that's perfect, Tina. You can either email us or just send it through DM on our Instagram page. Yeah, whatever works for you.
That definitely works, Tina. And anybody else out there that forgot to hold up a sign with the date, as long as you got the timestamp with the date, that works.
Yeah. So back to what we're talking about. If it comes to doing a quick summer shred, I am going to say that caloric deficit's king, right? Like, you need to know what you're eating and you need to be able to subtract some calories from that in order to start burning fat effectively in this short amount of time.
100% agree. It's you want to lose fat, it's calories. It's not rocket science. It's calories in, calories out. You got all these diets, Atkins, keto, carnivore, vegan, you name it. The key to those diets is you're eating less calories than you were before you started that diet. It's not the fact that there's no carbs in that diet. It's not the fact that there's no meat in that diet. It's the fact that you didn't eat those calories when you started that diet.
Good morning, Angel. What's up? Oh, his son's graduating today. Well, congratulations.
That's fantastic, Angel. Congrats to you and your son.
Yeah,
that's a big step in life.
Yeah. So, there's people out there that'll say you don't need to create a caloric deficit. And maybe that's true for long-term transformations. Like, maybe you could do a body recomposition in a different way, increasing the intensity of training. But when we're talking like a really quick turn and burn 6-week shred, the most efficient way to do that is going to be a caloric deficit. So calories are king in this case.
No question.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about the macros. In our video, we kind of broke down exactly how much protein, carbs, and fat that you guys should be eating.
Yeah, if you guys watched the video on Wednesday, this is a follow-up from Wednesday. We're just getting a little bit deeper in and giving you some more tips from what we talked about on the Wednesday video.
Yeah. In there, we talked about the percentage of fats. That a common mistake people make is setting it below 20%.
Yes,
there's like this illusion that if you eat fat, you get fat, and that's just not true. Your body needs fat in order to lose weight.
That's a big mistake, and it's a common mistake to stop eating fat.
Yeah, and I think I spoke about it in the video. Like, I've made that mistake, y'all. Like, I've been in a contest prep, and, really it was a result of trying to create such a large caloric deficit that I ended up just bringing the fat way, way too far down. And I got stuck. Couldn't lose more weight.
It's an easy mistake. Calories, 9 calories a gram compared to 4 calories a gram. Well, I'm going to cut the fat because it's more calories, but don't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing we talked about in the macro section was setting the protein next, that, you should try to focus on 1 pound to 1.2 grams per pound of body weight. There's this, well, it's not a misconception. Like, you need the protein. Like, we'll just tell you, real talk, you will lose your muscle in this 6-week shred if you do not eat enough protein.
Real talk.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fact. If that protein's too low, you're going to waste the muscle. So just keep that in mind.
It's a fact.
It's a fact. I mean, it can be hard, you guys. Like, it can be hard to hit your protein numbers. Like, you're going to have to supplement with probably some type of, powdered protein.
That makes it easy. So it can be tough, but if you got protein powder, there's no excuse.
Yeah, just dial in however many scoops you need to hit that number.
Yep. Angel said we need healthy fats. Yes, we do. There are essential fats. There are essential proteins. You need them both or you will die.
Absolutely.
I mean, very extreme case, but essential fats, essential proteins, you need them both.
I mean, and when we say, eat your fats 20, 30%, like, make sure you're eating healthy fats. Like, we don't want tons of saturated fat and all these trans fats.
No, we're talking about healthy fats. You can do a little bit of saturated, but stay away from the trans.
Mhm.
Absolutely stay away. That's fake anyway. It's
Yeah.
just fake food.
Absolutely. And then we talked about in the video, carbs should be the last macro you dial in. It's whatever's left to create your caloric deficit, right? So whatever that is, it is what it is.
All right, Native Grit has a great question, and Big T has asked me the same question. What are your thoughts on Rich Piana's real food powder? My thoughts are if you're going to eat real food, eat real food. It's not powder. If you're going to eat powder, that's not real food. That's a supplement. So
Yeah.
you're just supplementing real food with the real food powder.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing to consider when it comes to carbs is that carbs are fuel. Like they do impact your performance in the gym,
Yep.
right? And they do keep your metabolism from tanking as well. So they are important from that aspect. So I really wouldn't eliminate carbs completely out of your diet because your training is going to suck, if I'm being honest.
Time them so that you eat them before your workout so that you use that fuel to energize your workout.
Yeah. If any of you guys have ever done like an Atkins or a low carb or even keto, I mean, you're sucking when you're trying to get through those workouts sometimes. Like you have no energy whatsoever. So I think it is important. And training intensity was like one of the number one things to maintain our muscle in the shred.
Yep.
So if you can't get into the gym and hit it with the same veracity as normal, well, that's an issue.
There he is. Big T's on. What's up, Big T?
Hey,
Welcome back,
Terrence.
baby. I just answered Native Grit's question. You asked me that a long time ago, Big T.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of some myth busting, people say, clean eating doesn't guarantee fat loss. Yeah, that's true. If your portions are off, you're still going to gain weight. It doesn't matter if it's clean foods or not.
Yes, you can eat chicken and rice all day. If you're above your calories, it's going to convert to fat or waste.
Absolutely.
Or both. So it doesn't matter if you're eating 100% clean. 100% clean. If you're eating too much, 100% clean, it's still caloric, too much calories, and it's going to be fat or waste. All right, Dave and Buff said, good morning. I use good seasoned salad dressing. You make it yourself, so you choose what oil you use.
Nice.
Olive, avocado, walnut, you choose. Fantastic.
I like
so you
it.
can choose the healthy fats, the healthy oils. That is great. Great tip. Aileen said carbs before and after your workout. Great advice. Yep, great advice. They're going to feed your muscles after your workout, and they're going to energize your workout before. When you eat them before.
Going back to the clean eating, a lot of my clients have this misconception that they can eat as much vegetables or fruit that they want, and it doesn't count. It counts.
Big mistake. And fruits are very high in calories and fructose, which is fruit sugar, which is better than sucrose, but it's still fruit sugar and it's still calories. I can't tell you how many people came up to me and said, all I eat is fruit and I'm not losing any weight. What the heck's going on here?
You're eating loads of sugar.
And then they say, well, I had 17 fruit cocktails yesterday. That's not even fruit, y'all. That's fruit in a sugar juice sauce sitting in a can. But even if it's not fruit cocktail, if all you're eating is fruit all day, it's carbs, it's fructose, and it's calories. Look at the calories on raisins.
Right. Oh, they're so high. They're just loaded little sugar bombs.
Bananas, super high in calories. There's just people got the misconception about fruit.
Right.
Big T, workout's been a struggle this week, dealing with a strained groin.
That is a tough injury.
Man.
Yeah,
I've
that's
been through
unfortunate.
that one a couple times, Big T. That is a bad one. Let it heal, buddy. Don't push it. Let it heal up. Dave and Buster, 3 pounds this week, pushing hard for the finish line.
Right.
You were already down 30 last week, so now you're down 33. Dave and Buster, my man, on a roll. And 3 pounds in a week. That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, a lot of my clients, going back to the fruit, they will eat tons and tons of vegetables, which is great. Yes, you can fill up a lot more on tons of vegetables, but they still have calories. They still count. You need to make sure you're still tracking the calories for those in your meal plans.
Everything you eat, you better be tracking. And go ahead and look at your toothpaste. We're going real talk. I bet your toothpaste has carbs. I bet your toothpaste has calories. Go ahead and take a look.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't see some of the hidden sugars and calories and the different things. Gum's a big one too.
Yep.
Like it'll be advertised as zero sugar, but that's assuming that you're chewing it for a sufficient amount of time. You can't just pop a piece in and then, 2 minutes later pop another piece. So gotta think of those kind of things too. Another big one that gets a lot of people is tasting of the food while they're meal prepping. Those little bites that you're taking to make sure your food's cooked right, they absolutely count and they can add up significantly.
100%. Mm-hmm. Also, supplements. Look at your supplements. People take fish oil and just don't even think about it.
Right.
Fish oil has calories, y'all. Look at your supplements. Our EAAs they have calories. Look at your supplements. They have calories as well.
Absolutely.
All right, Native Grit. So how do you deal with stress or depression eating? So I do not take eating as a coping mechanism. I know a lot of people do, but I do not. So I can't really answer that one. That's not my go-to when I'm depressed or off or whatever.
So I've got tons of different tips. Native Grit, in fact, there's an entire video. I think it's geared towards like holiday binge eating, but they all work regardless. One thing is to try to just like get up and break the mindset. So if you're starting to spiral and think about eating and food, if you get up and do another activity, a lot of times that will help. Obviously, if you're kind of stressed or depressed, you might not want to. So that's the challenge there. But there's other tips like drinking big glasses of water, getting up, brushing your teeth, right? Like you don't want to eat or chew gum, like minty gum. All those things can help. But really long term, you want to find a different coping mechanism, a healthy one. So get up and maybe take a walk, get some fresh air. That way you're at least getting steps in.
Yeah, I have the opposite problem actually, Native Grit. When I'm feeling off, I don't want to eat. Mm-hmm. So I have to make myself eat when I'm feeling down or off. Yeah. All right, Vino says both are not optimal. I'm assuming he's talking about stress and depression. Mm-hmm. But sweets or chips, and why? If you had to choose one.
I'm going to go with sweets. I have a big sweet tooth, not so much the savory side. What about you?
It's going to depend on the day. Most of the time it would be chips, but every once in a while, it depends on the sweet as well. You can take jelly beans and flush them down the toilet.
Jelly beans are great.
You give me a piece of chocolate, maybe we can talk. But most of the time it's going to be salty for me.
That's funny. For sure. Good stuff. Great question. I like it.
Yeah.
Aileen cut 500 calories this week. Ooh, excellent. Baby. That should yield a really good result.
Summer shred starting, Aileen. All right.
So did you cut that for going into next week, or did you cut that like the previous week? If so, how did it go this week? Yeah. So let us know for sure. Another thing, we'll just bust some myths. Meal timing does matter a little more than people think sometimes, especially when we're trying to have the energy to get the lifts in and perform in the gym. Aline kind of hinted on this, like carbs before and after, the training. And I agree with that. And definitely protein on the backside of the training, especially if you are lifting in the morning. If you're lifting it in the evening, maybe the protein's a little less important after because you've been eating protein all day, hopefully.
Yes, the protein's definitely less important, especially the more info that comes out now. People say you got a protein window. Well, protein digests a lot slower than what people thought.
Right.
So you don't really, the carb timing is a lot more important.
Sure.
Aileen said you started on Monday and lost 1 pound so far. All right. Keep it going, baby. 1 pound is 1 pound. You keep doing that. Stay consistent. It'll keep coming off. Man.
Absolutely.
Native Grit said, dealing with medical stuff got me down most of the time. I just go down to my gym and hit a muscle group.
That's right. Do what you can.
That's the best thing you can do, baby. Fantastic. If you can, a lot of times I feel a lot better after I do some cardio. The weights don't really give me that, euphoric feeling, but cardio does.
Interesting.
So I always feel better after I hit cardio. If you're dealing with a little depression, you're feeling down, try some cardio. It always lightens me up. All right, we're rocking and rolling.
All right. David Buster says, if you stress eat, portion it out so you know the damage, the burn, the extra calories the next day with cardio. Yeah, so Dave and Buster, we actually just filmed a video today that gets into some of those tips about, what do you do if you kind of eat something off plan and how do you react to that? So you guys definitely tune in on Wednesday and we'll give you all those great tips for how you deal with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Vino said, from a health perspective, sweets or chips as far as inflammation, bloating, etc.
Both are bad. So too much refined sugar there is going to cause inflammation. Chips, on the other hand, I mean, you're eating maybe a lot of more sodium.
Neither one's going to be good.
Yeah, neither one's going to be good. I think that the savory kind of chips would definitely cause a lot of bloating.
Water retention from sodium.
Yeah, but the sweets in particular could cause inflammation 100%. So
yeah, I'd rather have bloating than inflammation.
Mm-hmm,
if I had to pick one, I wouldn't want either, but if I had to pick one, I'd pick bloating over inflammation.
I like Dave and Buster's suggestion of portioning it out, or at least still tracking what it is that you kind of stress ate. I think that's important.
100%. Mm-hmm. All right, Jyoti Ruth. I hope I didn't mess your name up. I'm 19. I want to get huge muscles fast. How can I? Is that possible? No. Nothing gets fast when you're talking about fitness, especially making muscles, my man. The average person puts on about 4 to 8 pounds of muscle a year.
And that's slows down the more athletically trained you are. So as you shift from intermediate to advanced, you can expect even less than that.
Correct. So if you're looking for 12 pounds of muscle, you're looking at probably 3 years of training, my man. It sounds like, a lot, but 12 pounds of muscle is a lot of muscle. Mm-hmm. So you put yourself 3 years in, 12 pounds of muscle up, you're going to be looking good. Just remember, it's not fast. Stick with it. Everybody wants it fast.
I know.
And if it was possible, everybody would get it fast, but it's not a fast process.
For sure.
All right. Aileen says popcorn when you're craving. That's a good one. Very low calorie snack. I would just keep the butter and salt off of it.
Yeah.
Tina said, I think replacing a snack with a meal helps.
It does. It does. If you're like, man, I'm craving something, just go ahead and have whatever the meal is that you're supposed to eat, So if you're kind of close to lunchtime, maybe go ahead and eat lunch. Or if you're close to dinner, go ahead and eat your dinner. At least you're, full from that meal after.
Yeah. Good tip. Vina said, you guys are looking great, by the way. Thank you, Vina. I appreciate that, man. We're trying.
Yeah.
We're summer shredding too, man.
That's right. So another thing for you guys, starvation mode is actually a real thing, but it doesn't mean that, you stop losing fat. It just means that your metabolism is, basically adapting to poor planning. That's essentially what that boils down to. But while a lot of people, your metabolism takes time to adjust. And if you kind of create so much of a deficit, your body will kind of slow down, shut down. But I hear a lot of people will use that. They'll use it as a crutch. They'll say, hey, I'm in starvation mode. I can't lose any weight. It's like, no, it's okay. We can work ourselves out of that and get out of that state. You can't use that as an excuse. So.
All right. GB92 says, my issue is planning my meals. If I miss my Sunday meal prep, my week of eating is so inconsistent. Any tips for better consistency? Yes. Do your meal prep.
Well, so GB92, here's a tip for you. So sometimes when me and James are meal prepping, it's we end up meal prepping way too much. And so what we'll do is after a couple days in, when we realize, we're not going to get through all this food, we freeze it. And so you can freeze those portions and keep them in your freezer. And so the weeks where you get jammed up, now you have this storage of prepped meals that you can pull out of the freezer and just microwave.
Yeah, I don't know how you do it without meal prepping. I mean, we'll switch days if we have to. Meal prep Saturday instead of Sunday, even Friday if we have to. But you grocery shop, you make your grocery list from your meal prep.
Right.
And then you meal prep. So I don't know how you would even go about this if you missed your meal prep day. Then you missed your grocery shop day, I assume. And then you're just going to be eating out the whole week.
Yeah. And if you do have to eat out, then pick restaurants where you can track the calories. So you know what you're eating at the very least.
Yeah. But I would get the meal prep in no matter what you got to do. I'd be completely lost, GB92. If we didn't meal prep, I would be doing circles all week.
Another thing you can do is freeze mass quantities of different protein sources like shredded chicken, some ground beef. That way you still have to cook it in kind of real time, but the base ingredients are already made, so you can put it together pretty fast if you miss the meal prep.
Yes, and we also have a tip. Sometimes we come up short on meals. We always have eggs in the refrigerator. So if we're short on our meal prep,
at night,
we're going to have eggs for dinner a couple nights that week.
For sure.
So just make it happen, GB92. That's the best advice. I mean, I'd be completely lost. I've meal prepped for so long now. I would be lost without it. All right. Angel says, whenever I'm craving food, I eat oatmeal and yogurt. Good, healthy choice.
For sure.
Mysthetic, it's important to remember to enjoy the process of bodybuilding, not just look toward a goal 5 years from now. Enjoy the process. Truly enjoy every rep.
Yeah.
If you can do that, you will have much better time with this process.
I mean, I try to, especially doing cardio and dieting, sometimes you're like seeing it as a punishment, and you got to remind yourself, like, I chose to do this. I get to do this. It's all about flipping that mindset towards the positive.
Yeah, you beat me to it. This is something you choose to do. So everything you do with it, give 100%, get those gains, and enjoy it.
Exactly.
You can absolutely choose not to do it, but you're doing it, so enjoy it. You're here. You're making gains. What's not to love, baby?
Right.
All right. Vino, any tips for maintaining your metabolism while dieting?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one, you got to think about how long are you dieting. If you're dieting for a while, you're going to have to work in either cheat meals or refeeds. So cheat meal could just be like, hey, on Saturday at dinner, I'm going to eat something, really high in carbs, really high in fat, right? Whereas a refeed, if you've been dieting for a really long time, you might want to take a whole week or two and say, I'm going to go back to my maintain for those 2 weeks. And this keeps your metabolism going and healthy, so you don't stall. But it just depends how much time you have.
Yeah, you can also try a fat burner in there. That will raise up your metabolism as well.
Sure.
Terrence says, using a smaller plate when eating has helped with weight loss. Yes, portion size.
I remember the plate diet. You remember that? They were selling plates to you guys, different sizes, containers.
Right. And we just talked about you can eat healthy food all day. You're going to gain weight if you bust your calories. So portion control is definitely part of this.
Yeah.
Native Grit, I tell my son to stop counting reps. He gets in the mindset of only doing what the program says when I know he can do more.
That is a common mistake for sure.
Very common mistake. If you hit 10 reps or whatever you're supposed to do and it was easy,
Tina actually shared a great video with us on Instagram where the coach was saying that exact thing. Like, no, you can do more. Like, I'm going to help you do more. And what do you know? Like, the guy did more.
And you're going to do more, or you're going to stop right there, add weight, and do another set.
Right.
David Buster says, dieting is very difficult when you have a spouse that isn't. Yes,
it's hard.
It is. Or kids. You got the junk food in the house. You're smelling the pizza. You're looking at them drinking wine and having pizza, and you're just going,
It is hard. Like, James and I have been in several situations where, like, maybe he's dieting for show and I'm not, or vice versa, and it is extremely challenging. Like, you really gotta focus back in on your why and stay disciplined. Like, it doesn't matter if, maybe James is like, hey, it's my weekend, make me a grilled cheese, and you're like, well, I definitely can't eat that.
And I did that to her a few times.
And I'm just sitting there like, smelling that bread and the cheese. Yeah, it's like, it's horrible. But, if you have a strong why and you're trying to get to this finish line and do this process, then it's okay. Like, at the end of the day, you're like, I love my family. I want James to be happy. Like, this will make him happy. It's okay. Like, you'll get past it.
All right. Jayudi said, I want big muscles quickly to impress the girls. I don't blame you, brother. Hey, I don't know if you heard my story before, but I got serious on deployment. I was deployed for a year with the Army and put on a lot of muscle that year. Right. And guess what? When I came back, the girls were looking at me, Judy. They weren't looking at me before I left. Before deployment, I never got a look. Now girls are breaking their necks 2 parking lots over. Whoa, who's that guy over there? Because I put on muscle that whole year, came back, and my uniform didn't even fit. I had to get bigger uniform. But
so going back to your origin story, you said you even drew it out. Like I kept starting over. I kept starting and stopping. And I would just end up right back at the start point. But the moment I decided to be consistent and disciplined, so in a way that is fast gains, because if you're one of the people that keeps starting and stopping, you're never going to get big, right? Like you have to be consistent, and that's the fastest way to having big muscles. So
that is correct. Jay Udi, when I was in high school, I was on and off, and didn't really make the gains. It's when I put the year in, consistent training is when I made the gains, brother.
Yeah. And if you're not one that's consistent in the gym right now, you can actually make a pretty big difference. Like I've had a client I worked with, from October to January, she made significant gains in muscle size. Like I was truly impressed at what she could do in that short amount of time. So it can make a difference, just
absolutely.
Yeah.
Aileen said, dozen chicken breasts in the slow cooker with marinara sauce. Then pull the chicken for the week. There it is. Hey, that's
I like that. I haven't tried the marinara sauce.
We haven't, but we do the chicken in the crock pot. GB92, that's a great tip. Crock pot and grill.
Yeah.
It will save you time, and you can do a whole bunch at one time.
Yeah, for sure.
Great tip, Aileen. Tina says, I love to enjoy the process. That makes it that much greater, y'all. I love the gains. I love just about all this except for sore legs. Other than that, I love it all.
Hey, Tina, what bodybuilding show are you at? Just curious.
Oh, are you watching? Yeah.
Yeah.
Vino says, don't forget to hit the like button. These guys are giving great advice for free. Thanks, Vino. Appreciate that, man.
Yeah. All right, y'all, let's talk about maybe some lesser known truths that are out there. You can gain fat while eating healthy. The same thing, we were talking about, it really boils down to how many calories are you eating at the end of the day. Yep. So definitely keep that in mind. Obviously low calories plus no fat equals hormonal chaos. So stay away from that. Like it just ends up with, down regulation of the thyroid, cortisol will shoot up and all that. So stay away from that as well. Another thing too, if you're constantly hungry, cold, moody, maybe your deficit's too deep. So maybe back that off a little bit and see what actually happens to you.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Native Grit, have you ate Monster Mash? I don't think I've eaten Monster
Mash. I don't even know what Monster Mash is. I'm curious. So type that out for us.
I hope it's a whole lot of protein mashed in one bowl.
Yes. Please, sir, ma'am, you come regularly live. It's really helpful to learn something new from you guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it, David. We're here every Sunday at 12 Eastern time, my man.
Yep.
Dave and Buster, nothing will slow you down like an injury, man. Always think about safety first, weight belt, wrist straps, etc.
Absolutely.
100%, Dave and Buster. I don't know if you saw my post in the community, but I was able to train a lot harder this week because my back is feeling better. My back's been on the mend for 3 weeks, y'all. This is week 4. I'm not 100%, but I was able to crank it up this week, and I lost 2 more pounds with the same macros. So the only explanation is going harder. Intensity and effort correlate with results. Oh,
nice. Tina was at an OCB show in Mount Holly. Cool. Okay. That's not too far away from us, Miss Tina.
Fantastic.
All right. So let's shift gears now and talk about fat burning supplements, because that was a big piece to Wednesday's video too, where we shared our favorite fat burning supplements with you guys.
Yep. Big T says right before the supplements, 90. What are your thoughts on the 90-10 diet? I love it. So if you guys have been following, I eat whatever I want on Saturdays. Most of the time I keep it pretty clean. I had subs yesterday. That was my go-to. So, but I eat whatever I want on Saturdays. The rest of the week is the 90%. I keep it tight. I keep it clean. I get my 10% of whatever I want on Saturday. And yes, there were some chips with those subs.
I'm a little different. I do have a refeed day on Saturdays, but really I'm just, almost doubling my calories. I still track them. So whereas James won't necessarily track what he's eating on that day, I do track what I'm eating on that day. and try to still hit a macro set. It's just significantly more food. And I definitely have sweets worked in there because that's my go-to.
Great question, Big T. And I think everybody should do a 90-10. That way they can plan for events, happy hours, weddings,
graduation,
bodybuilding show, et cetera, et cetera. As long as you plan for these things, you can do the 10% sloppy eating.
Yeah.
Just make sure you tighten it up to 90% of the rest of the time. All right, Native Grit, ground bison, rice, sweet potatoes, and chicken bone broth.
That sounds amazing.
That does.
We need the monster mash.
That sounds amazing.
We're going to have to wait till we're bulking, though, I think, maybe.
We will. We do have a butcher right down the road that has bison. So, yeah, we can absolutely get that and make that. Thanks, Native Grit.
Yeah.
I'm have to get that.
All right. Supplements. Some real talk. Supplements are accelerators, and that's it. They're not magic pills, you guys. You know, don't even bother trying to take fat burning supplements if your diet and training suck. Like, I'll just be honest with you. It's not worth it. You're just, tossing cash out there for, no reason.
Yeah, that's real talk.
That's real talk.
Don't waste your money on fat burners if you're not going to diet. Real talk. I've told the story about the 3 guys at Gold's Gym. They would take, their fat burner, the ephedrine back when it was legal, et cetera, and go home and eat a pack of hot dogs. And I'm just like shaking my head. Oh, the fat burner will take care of it. Guess what?
It's not going to take care of it.
None of them leaned out. They were big, husky dudes. They're big, strong guys, but none of them leaned out. Not once, not ever. So you can't out-supplement a bad diet. All right, Native Grit. Stan Efferding had athletes eating it. If you don't know who Stan Efferding is, he's a big coach for strongman and powerlifting, etc.
I can see why.
He does have a nickname. I forget what it is, but he's one of the big names out there. Aileen said, my refeed day is always after a brutal leg day.
That's perfect.
Man, that's pretty good advice. I wish I could hook up my leg day every Friday, but it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
All right, Dave and Buster, chocolate craving. 1 M&M is only 4 calories. If that takes care of the craving, I guess so.
I mean, I don't know. You must just be totally disciplined because I would not be able to stop at 1 M&M. Like, it would just be like pop, 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 pop. Next thing you know, there's like 10 gone.
Yeah, I'd rather not have the M&Ms in the house. What a lot of clients and a lot of people I know do, buy a chocolate protein powder.
Right.
And they say that takes care of the chocolate cravings. So you could try that out. It's not going to be an M&M.
Right.
But it might hook you up and give you protein instead of just empty calorie.
Yeah.
The empty 4 calorie.
I mean, same with like, using PB2, powdered peanut butter versus real peanut butter. A lot of people love peanut butter. When they're dieting, you can't have it. So if you still want that peanut butter taste, you could do powdered peanut butter. Yeah.
JOT, professional body is a really healthy sport. That's a great question. It is 90% healthy, JOT.
Yeah.
When you get to the lean, super lean contest peak week, that's when it starts being unhealthy because you're too lean and it's not a realistic lean. That's why they call it peak week, because you're peaking. You're going to gain weight after that. So great question. 90% healthy. It just gets unhealthy when you're talking about how lean you have to get to make it to the stage.
Let's talk about some real talk there, though, because a lot of times if you're following some of your favorite bodybuilders on social media, they're posting these totally ripped photos of themselves year round. And you're like, really? But the thing that you don't realize is they're taking all of that content when they're when they're leaned out getting ready for a show, and they don't take a single new photo until the following year when they're cutting down for another show. And so you think that they stay that way all year, but really they just had all that content ready to load.
That is a secret of the pros. They will load up their content when they are in shape. They will shoot literally a year of content in a month. That way their whole year of content is shot while they're in shape.
Yep.
All right. Big T, Stan Efferding is the creator of the Monster Mash. Yes, he is. That's what Native Grit just said, buddy. Dave and Buster, but 10 is only 40 calories.
Hey, you know what? If it fits your macros, Dave and Buster,
You just
if
beat
it
me
fits
to
your
it.
macros.
If it fits your macros and it fixes your cravings, go for it. If it busts your macros, you better not be doing it.
You know, in terms of competitive bodybuilding, one of the things James and I always tell our clients, there's good, better, best.
Yeah.
So that might be good, but if we're aiming for best, that's not going to cut it. So it just depends what the goal and what you're trying to do.
And how hard you
Mhm.
want to go. Yep.
Yep.
Aileen said in summer I make popsicles with BCAA powder. That's
Nice.
fantastic. I didn't think about that either. I mean, I don't eat popsicles, but if I did, that's a great thing.
I've been making this thing, Aileen. It's interesting. It's almost like a cheesecake pudding. You take the 0 sugar Jell-O cheesecake powder, a couple tablespoons of that. You do like a half cup of Greek vanilla yogurt and then some cream cheese, and you put protein powder in there, whip it all together, and it literally tastes like cheesecake. I mean, clearly, you know, there's protein powder and all that in there, but it definitely fights that sweet craving for me, and you're getting tons of protein in there.
You just answered the next comment. Go ahead and read it.
Have you guys ever tried making healthy junk food like protein powder brownies? Yes, we've made fat bombs. If you have like a chocolate craving, you can use like some coconut oil and some like, you know, powdered chocolate and stuff to
The
get that.
cheesecake thing you were just talking about is
Yep.
junk food. What is he calling
Yeah,
it?
it's like a food hack.
Healthy junk food. Yeah.
For sure.
You know, there's a lot of them out there. Protein pudding, protein ice cream.
Mhm. I make peanut butter protein balls a lot using the PB2 that we were talking about.
Yep. Just once again, make sure it hits your macros.
Right. And you can't eat too much of that. Otherwise, same problem.
Right. And, you know, she says she makes her cheesecake protein. That's a meal, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a snack.
It's a meal.
It's a sit down. That's a meal. So she's not eating anything else with it. It's not like you have a meal and then dessert.
Right.
It's the meal. Angel said Lee Priest took photos of himself when he was bulking. He was fat. Yes, Lee Priest gets extremely fat in the off season. I'm not sure if he still does it, but I saw him at the Arnold one year and I was embarrassed for him. He's only about 3 feet tall and he was at least 3 feet wide. He looked like a beach whale. I don't understand why he let himself go that far, but he did. I mean, I think he's in pretty decent shape now, but when I saw him, I was embarrassed for him. He looked like a sumo wrestler. A 3 foot tall sumo wrestler. Aileen said, yo, all right. And then he said, shouldn't talk about sweets. I'm in deficit right now.
I hear ya.
That goes back to your spouse jumping on those brownies while you're watching a movie. You're sitting there starving. And we're with you on that.
That's a good point, though, right? So we were talking about that. There was a time where we love doing pancake night in our family. And so I would make regular pancakes with tons of like goodies jammed in them for James and our daughter. And I would make the Kodiak cakes for myself because they have protein in them. And so still eating the same thing, sort of, but different.
Yep. All right. Judy said, nowadays some teenager social media influencers like Sam Selleck, they got very wrong to their audience. Sam Selleck eats all the time junk food and how his physique looks impressive at just the age of 21. You bringing up a lot of good points here, Judy. Number one, Sam Selleck has genetics.
Very good genetics.
He has good enough genetics that he can mess up all day and still build that physique. So the guys with the good genetics don't really have to work hard until they reach the upper levels. So if you watch Sam Selleck won his pro card, he should not have won his pro card. He won his pro card because he's such a big influencer. The physiques next to him on stage were better, and they beat him. But once again, the IFBB gave it to Sam Selleck because he's a more popular guy. This just happened with Larry Wheels yesterday. I just saw he won his pro card in bodybuilding, unless it was a fake post. I haven't researched it. But I guarantee you Larry Wheels did not have the best physique.
I hate that about now. You never know what's real or not.
Yeah. Larry Wheels is big. He's extremely strong, but his physique is not a very good-looking physique. It's not aesthetic. It's not a good-looking physique. He should stick to powerlifting, even though he got his pro card in bodybuilding because he's a popular guy. Not because, I mean, it goes back to 1984 when Arnold Schwarzenegger beat Mike Menzer. Arnold should not have beaten Mike Menzer. He did not have a better physique, but he's more popular, so the sport gave it to the more popular guy. Even though they're telling you the wrong stuff and they're doing the wrong things, they're both genetically gifted, so doing the wrong things they can get away with, whereas you and I cannot.
Yeah.
All right, Big T. I do a natural hydration drink for post-workout. Coconut water, squeeze of lemon and lime, Himalayan salt, and creatine. That's great. I put some protein in there too, brother. Miss Tech says genetics and a ton of gear. Most likely. Angel, Larry Wheels didn't deserve it. I haven't even looked it up, and I know Larry Wheels did not deserve it. And you hit it. Jayodi, he's got terrible legs. They are strong as can be. I mean, they're strong as can be. The dude is strong. Stupid strong. But the physique ain't there. He's got a wide waist. He's got little legs. It's just not a good-looking physique.
It's always the legs. Why are the legs so hard?
So Larry was genetically gifted in strength. He's not genetically gifted in the physique. It's not aesthetic. He's got little legs, et cetera, et cetera. Sam was gifted with the aesthetics and the size.
For sure, for sure. All right, y'all. Back to fat burning supplements. Let's talk about caffeine. That was a big one that we talked about in our Wednesday video. You know, it's a great stimulant. Yes, that's true. But magic pill, no, definitely not.
There is no magic pill.
Yeah.
As much as we all would like, there is no magic pill.
The biggest mistake with using caffeine is it leads to a crash typically, and it can lead to poor recovery. And not only that, you typically will build up tolerance to it over time, and you have to take more and more and more and more.
And we talked about that. You know, we change up our pre-workouts. Instead of taking more, we change the brand.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you don't take a day off, like the weekends, I usually don't take the caffeine pills on the weekends.
Right.
So that Monday, they're back at working again. By Friday, they're getting weak. Take Saturday, Sunday off. They're back to working
again. Yeah.
Native Grit, did you see the older brother from Buff Dudes won a contest in the 40s and never competed before? Great job. I don't know what Buff Dudes is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either. Is that like a documentary?
But good on them. I mean, anybody over 40 that's winning is doing fantastic.
For sure.
Take my hat off to them. I mean, just to keep going and keep making gains in your 40s, not even compete, but to keep going and keep making gains up in your 40s and 50s. I take my hat off to you, man. All right. Angel said, forget the fat burning supplements. Just get up and get moving your body. Yep.
You nailed it, Angel. That's true. Absolutely.
And you said it. Even if you're taking them, if you're not getting up and you're not moving, they're not going to work.
Yeah. You still have to diet. You still have to work out. These are just little tweaks, little tiny tweaks. Teardrop pain.
Aileen says, teardrop pain this morning, so took baking soda half hour ago. Pain's gone.
Nice.
So work after working out too. All right.
All right. I have not tried it after working out. I've been doing it like consistently before working out for sure.
Have to give it a try after workout. Now, man, we're going to get a lot of baking soda.
It's like sitting out Eileen on our counter right now, like right next to the creatine. It goes protein, baking soda, creatine, like on our counter.
All right, Jayudi, if someone had bad genetics, if they do lots of hard work and they can build up good physique naturally, yes, 100%. Now, Jayudi, don't think you're going to build up and look like Ronnie Coleman, right? Or even Sam Sulek. You're just going to build up the best your physique can build up. You know, I think I talked about it today. I'd love to look like Ronnie Coleman, but being 300 pounds is just not in the books for me. You know, I'm 206 this morning. Ronnie Coleman looked like this, even leaner than me at 300 pounds. Yeah. It's not going to happen.
That's crazy.
But hard work and consistency, you will build the best physique that you can build.
For sure, for sure. All right.
He said me too. He's taking a lot of baking soda.
Let's talk about some common myths. You know, people think like, hey, if I don't take fat burners, I don't have to diet as hard. That's absolutely false. You still have to diet, you still have to train, and you still have to do those things very aggressively.
Again, go ahead and try it. You're just going to waste your money.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to waste money, man.
Yeah.
You think you can take that fat burner, it's going to make up for a bad diet. You're wasting your money.
Yeah. A lot of people think too, like more is better. That's not true. It leads to adrenal fatigue. It leads to insomnia. So like more the stimulants, the fat burners.
Oh yeah, double up the fat burner because I ate double the calories. No.
And not only that, you're going to be irritable, you guys. Like your spouse or significant other is not going to like you very much because you're going to be snapping at them, taking too many fat burners. So.
Yeah, and you're going to be in the bathroom with a tore up stomach because you're taking so much caffeine.
All right.
Aileen, a good one is apple cider vinegar before a meal.
Okay.
I do apple cider vinegar once a day, just like the baking soda. I don't necessarily do it before a meal, though. I might have to try that.
Interesting.
Angel said, keep lifting, keep living, keep laughing. I'm off to graduation.
Yes, congratulations.
Fantastic, Angel. Once again, congrats to you and your son. That is a huge step in life, and life's about to start for him. Good luck, and thanks for tuning in, brother.
Yep. See you next week, Angel. Other myths, people think, well, it's just a supplement, abuse of any of those fat burners can wreak havoc on your thyroid and your nervous system. So please, follow the recommendations on the bottle. Make sure you're taking time away from some of those fat burners and supplements. Do not abuse them. It will have negative consequences for you.
Yes, and if you continue to abuse them and take more and more, you are going to pay the price.
Right.
Jay Udi, abs are really need to train. When I do barbell squats, my abs are also engaging, so I need to train them. Yes, you do. You need core strength. So your entire core needs to be strong. That's where all your strength comes from. It's basically a circle around your belly button, the front and the back.
Sure, it's like a weight training belt, almost like a girdle.
Correct. And you're going to feel your abs when you're doing squats, deadlifts, straight leg deadlifts, even barbell curls. Your abs, rows, etc. Everything comes from that core. Strengthen it up.
Yeah. In fact, if you are feeling your abs during all of those, that's probably a good indicator that there's some weakness there, and you do need to focus on that. Another thing too, a lot of people think okay, if I just get lean enough and diet down, I'm going to have this chiseled six pack. Well, abs are muscles just like everything else. In order to get them truly three-dimensional, you are going to have to grow that by training heavy and lifting. So
Aileen said, where do we send the pics? Aileen, you got me on Facebook. You can send them to my personal one, or you can send them to the 88 Fitness email. I would say send it to my personal one. It'll be easier, and I'll get it.
Yeah. Anyone else that wants to join the summer shred, go ahead and email us info@88fitnesstraining.com. Send us your start photo with just the date next to it. And you can enter to win a free piece of apparel. Contest ends June 28th. So we've got 6 weeks to get shredded, you guys.
Yeah, and we're going to keep it simple. So if you get us your pictures, I don't care if it's through email, Instagram, Facebook, as long as we get them, you're in, baby.
Yeah.
And like Tina said, if you forgot to take the date, as long as the timestamp's on the picture you're sending, you're good to go.
Yeah. Supplements support your training. Your training is your fat burner. Do James's leg workout.
Hey, that's well said. I'm going to steal that.
I like that.
Support your training. Your training is your fat burner. I'm stealing that, Dave and Buster. Thank you. That's fantastic. Miss Tech, oblique training thickens up your waistline. Yeah, probably good. Only to train top and bottom abs and avoid oblique training. To a point.
Yeah, there is a lot of motions that require strong obliques, so I wouldn't completely cut that out. But yeah, one exercise to stay away from in general is oblique side bends. You see the guys and gals standing at the dumbbell rack, just constantly doing this thing. Yeah, you're going to grow a thick waist.
Yeah.
So there's other ways.
Right. You don't want any weak points in your physique. You don't want any weak spots. You don't want any muscle imbalances. So you have to train them a little. But don't focus on your obliques.
Yeah, for sure.
Aileen said, just want a day training with you. Heck yeah, Aileen. If you ever find yourself in Maryland, let us know, baby. If we're ever coming to Canada, I will reach out.
For sure.
We will make it happen. If we're ever in the same neighborhood, we will make that happen, Aileen.
Yeah.
We'll tear it off the chain, baby.
That goes for any of you guys. Definitely reach out to us for sure. We'd love to see where you guys are from and where you're located at. And we travel quite a bit, so maybe it's the case where we're in your neck of the woods.
Buff Dudes have a YouTube channel called Buff Dudes. Gotta check them out now.
Have to check them out.
Especially if you won his pro card yesterday.
For sure.
All right.
Let's talk about cardio for a few minutes, you guys.
Dreaded cardio.
Real talk. Cardio is a tool. It's not punishment. It's not punishment.
Right after I said dreaded cardio.
It is a tool to dial in that physique. So we want to do cardio, right? You just need to do only enough to encourage the fat loss and no more. And that is the mistake that everybody makes. They ramp the cardio up way too fast, way too much, and then it feels like a punishment instead of being the tool that it was designed to be.
Yes, and I'm going to say this, cardio does not have to suck. Listen, y'all, I get up very early, 12 o'clock, midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. I like to walk my lane, my country lane where I live. It's wonderful. You got a full moon, there's a fox, there's deer, there's all kinds of raccoons. It's peaceful, it's quiet. There's not a car on the road. All you're there is with wildlife, getting your cardio in. I love it. It's
fantastic. Yeah.
I also do that with my bicycle. I just pumped up the bicycle tires because I haven't rode all winter. The bike's going to come back out, and I got the bike out a couple years ago. I felt like a little kid again, riding my bike down the road. Now I don't go very fast just in case that raccoon decides to walk out in front of my bike in the middle of the night. But I still make sure I get my cardio and the heart rate where it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
Jay Udy, I train calves 3 times a week, but I didn't see any progress or growth of my calves. You're not training them hard enough. If you can train them 3 times a week, brother, go heavier. Calves are very stubborn.
You got to progressive overload them. I think that's the mistake people make is they progressive overload everything else. And when it comes to calves, they just don't focus on it. So
you also have to remember whatever you weigh, double it. That's your starting weight for your calf raises. So once again, go extremely heavy when you're doing calves. And if you can train them 3 times a week, you're not training them hard enough. They should be sore that you can't train them 3 times a week. Let them recover, let them get sore, and let them recover before you hit them again. If you shortchange your recovery, you're going to shortchange your growth as well.
Yeah.
So if you were sore and you were hitting them again, that might have been the problem.
Right.
All right, Aileen, yeah, you're up early. My phone's dinging for you. Yeah, I'm up early.
Yeah,
bro.
a lot of times his first client is at 4 a.m. Mine's at 4:30. And if you ever look at, sometimes you can see our clock in the background of the videos, that's always a.m. So we're out there at like 3, 4 a.m. filming videos for you guys sometimes.
Yes, I have a client at 4 a.m. every morning. I like to get up, work out, get cleaned up and dressed for work, and then train my clients and then go to work. So
Same.
Like I said, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning is pretty normal for us to wake up.
Yep. In fact, my first alarm goes off at 1:30. So definitely early.
All right. Miss Tech Dick says, don't set the weight too high for your calves, though I set the bar to 15 to see the calf extensions on a leg press machine the following day. My right foot was so sore I couldn't walk.
If you're not used to doing that, yeah, you are right. Like every time you flex your foot up and down, it's going to be painful.
Yeah, and you hit them, looks like you hit them 2 days in a row. Is that correct? That might have been the problem. You didn't let them recover.
Right.
All right, Judy, how do I lose fat from lower chest? You can't spot fat. Lose fat. So you're going to lose it for the last place you gained it. And unfortunately, a lot of men have that fat right on their lower chest, and it's the last place it goes.
I feel like anytime you're like focusing on an area and you're like, I want that area to lose the fat, it's going to be the last.
It's the last place to go.
For me, it's always like through my thighs. I'm like, why? It'll literally take until I'm like 2 weeks out from a show, and I'm like, oh, finally, my legs dialed in. So it's
true.
tough.
Yeah, it's true. I'll have a complete 6-pack. I mean, ripped 6-pack, but I got a chunk of butter in the back right here, like the love handle area. I still got a chunk of fat going there, but I'll have a ripped 6-pack going on in the front. It's just the last place you're going to lose it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
All right, Dave and Buster, 5-minute treadmill after your workout. Easy cardio. Metabolism's going, and your mind is already there.
Yeah.
Very much agreed. And if you're going at 90% of your heart rate,
yeah, how many of you guys caught my HIIT tip for you guys this Friday? We recommended just adding in 5 minutes of HIIT after your resistance training at the upper end of your heart rate. So that really speeds up the metabolism and it continues to burn like that even after the exercise activity is complete.
Correct. There's studies out there, and there's a video called 6-minute cardio that says if you're doing a hard enough cardio, 90% at 6 minutes is the same as doing an hour at 60%.
So that's a fat burning tip or secret for you guys. So if you're not doing that, go ahead and try it. It hits different. I don't know how to explain it, but the way that you feel after doing that hit, it is just like next level.
You're not at 90% of your heart rate hardly ever,
right?
Unless you're trying. Aileen, he retracted, but he said dips. 100%, Aileen, you are correct.
Mm-hmm.
In order to work out your lower chest, dips is probably your best exercise.
Yeah, for sure.
J-Udi, if you want to work out that lower chest area and build that muscle up, dips is going to be your best exercise, but you're still going to have to lose that fat in order to get that squared off pec look.
Mm-hmm. All right, y'all, let me hit you with some truth bombs when it comes to cardio. First and foremost, too much cardio kills your gains. It does. I'm sorry. Even if you have more fat to lose, if you overdo the cardio, you will waste muscle. And I have proved it myself. I did a series of DEXA scans, body scans, to measure how much muscle mass, lean muscle mass, and fat I had going into a show. And 1 year, we actually noticed a reduction in lean muscle mass. And my cardio was ramped up really high. I was up to like an hour and a half, 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, just kind of nowhere to go because we're trying to hit a time for a show. And that was a big mistake. Like I, lost a lot of the muscle mass I had spent that entire year trying to build.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah. Another thing for you is doing fasted cardio, but eating like trash. You're spinning wheels.
Same with the fat burning supplements. You're not gonna outwork out a trash diet.
Yeah. So call yourself on your BS. Stop eating that trash diet or stop doing the cardio. I mean, it's just not worth it. For sure.
Aileen says, I adjust my cardio on previous day activities. That's fantastic advice. So do I, Aileen. Mm-hmm. So, if I got in a whole bunch of work, a whole bunch of cardio and got beat up at work, I'm going to dial back the cardio because I don't need it.
Yeah, I have some clients too. They teach like aerobics classes and things like that absolutely counts as their part of their cardio because they are so active.
All right. David Buff said lifting hard is also cardio, so count that as well. Not so much, David.
It can feel like it. I get what you're saying.
So what happens when you're lifting? You go up, wow, but you don't sustain it.
Mm-hmm.
You catch your breath and it comes back down in between sets. So the definition of cardio workout is that you're at your target heart rate for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Sustain target heart rate for 30 minutes. So going up and down isn't cardio.
You are burning calories, David Buster, so that's a good thing.
You're burning calories, you're working out, and you are spiking that heart rate. Mm-hmm. You're just not sustaining that heart rate.
So I like to use my fitness watch to track the workouts, the heart rate, track the cardio, track it all.
Yep. Now, Aileen hit it, shorter rest in between sets. If you do that and you consistently do that for a half hour, yes, that's going to be cardio, but you are definitely going to sacrifice the weight you're lifting, which, again, we don't want to do because we want to keep the muscles and build the muscle. So catch your breath, keep your weights separate from your cardio. Don't try to mix them up.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Don't try to do them together. They're two separate workouts. One's cardio, one's anaerobic. Anaerobic, right?
Yeah.
Keep them separate.
For sure. Another truth bomb for you guys. Most fat loss happens in the kitchen, you guys. It's not on the treadmill. It's not. It's the diet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Push the plate. That's why everybody says diet's 80%. Diet's not 80%. Diet is hard. That's why it's 80%. If you can push that plate away, you're going to make the gains. You're going to get leaner. It's just extremely hard to say, man, I got, 3 bites left, but I hit my calories. I can't eat it,
Yeah, for sure.
Or if you just got done your meal and you're still very hungry.
That's hard. That's when you need to get up and brush your teeth or chew that gum that we were talking about based on Native Grit's comment.
Yeah, brushing your teeth is a great tip. I actually got that from Pamela Anderson, believe it or not. But you do not want to eat after you brush your teeth. So once you eat your meal, go brush your teeth, then you're done.
It definitely works. I was in Invisalign for almost 2 years. And, after you eat, you kind of want to brush your teeth because you don't want to put your aligners back in with, stuff in there. And so, the moment I would brush them, pop those aligners back in, it's like, well, I'm done because I don't want to go through that process again. So it's a good diet tip for sure.
It is, and it makes everything taste nasty. If you brush your teeth and then go eat whatever you're eating, it doesn't taste good anyway. So you're not going to want to do it anyway.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. We covered tons of real truth and truth bombs for you guys.
We had a lot of great questions. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's Dave and Buster, Aileen, J.Odi.
Angel.
Great questions. Native Grit, Terrence, all the regulars.
Tina.
Great to see you guys. Great to have the great questions. We appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in, Miss Keptic. I hope I'm saying that right.
We're probably not saying that right. All right, y'all. And if you want to still join that 6-week summer shred, please send us your photos today.
Yes.
We're going from today until June 28th, and we will pick the most shredded physique and send you guys a free apparel item.
Hey.
So hope to see some before photos, and we will catch you guys next Sunday, same place, same time. All right, bye everyone. Have a great Sunday.
Get that shred on.